So why don't you start off telling me about yourself as an artist, how you got started? Just
Okay. Um, I mean, I was always doing art, I guess, as a kid. And my mom, she always, I guess, pushed me, or I should say, she always kept those things. She still has a lot of those early stuff from like when I was a child and stuff like that. But I probably really leaned into it in high school. I went to Archbishop Carroll High School, and probably like my junior, senior year, um, uh, I don't know, we had like kind of big events. It was a Catholic high school, and I ended up painting like this big Jesus mural or whatever.
what
Um, and I guess it was like, and then at that time it was like, oh, you got to start figuring out college and all that stuff. And and I guess my like wish list school at the time, and not really knowing a lot about like where to go and what, colleges or whatever. But I was like, oh, that sounds like, Pratt Institute is a school for, it's not in DC. That sounds like a good place to go. And I was like, that was my,
institute?
huh?
Where is Pratt Institute
It's
located?
located in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, I know you like that.
Yeah, so I like that just became like my kind of top wish list school, and then all the others were like HBCUs. But it was just like, all right, well, that's something different. I didn't really see anybody else doing things like that where I was at. And so when I got it, I do had to show a portfolio and stuff like that and all those things. And so when I got accepted to that, it was like, all right, that's where I'm going. Like, that's it. So, and then when I went there, I just really got really immersed in a bunch of art and art philosophy, history, and things that like I had not been exposed to. And so those things always were very, very interesting to me. And I really did, love and enjoy my time at Pratt. And just I learned so much. Like I can't even like encapsulate it into like a few words. But
Major in a certain area of art? Well,
hmm?
did you major in a certain area in art? What was your interest?
My major ended up, well, that was part of my problem. I couldn't focus on one thing. I enjoyed so many in art direction.
Yeah.
Um,
'Cause I'm an oil painter, so what are the different genres that you like? Painting,
I enjoy oils. I enjoy abstract paintings a
drawing?
lot. I enjoy some of the hyper realistic
Yeah.
with like pencil, like Chuck Close and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
You see
but
a lot of that nowadays too.
yeah, and I guess that like, and then the graphic design part of it, there was like, because art direction really led more into advertising
Okay.
um, as a study, so that was always really interesting to me as well. Looking at the ads on TV and those type of things. And
Yeah.
so that's like where it was going as I was in school.
Yeah.
And I was always like painting. I guess I was using more acrylic and things like that, and like doing a lot of like color studies and color theory type of paintings. Were kind of like where I was living, artistically, that, and then the advertising stuff, which began to feel more like work than just like having fun.
Yeah.
And like, oh, now I gotta do something to do something,
Yes.
type of deal.
Yes.
But but yeah, that's kind of where it was. I mean, photography was I really enjoyed, like I enjoyed all my classes, like being exposed to something new, even like the pottery and throwing, you
Yes.
know. I was kind of like good at everything. Like I could kind of do whatever I wanted, um,
This,
which sometimes is a gift and a curse.
well, nowadays a lot of artists are multidisciplinary. They to express themselves, they do a lot of different, you know, types of art to express themselves. Some just stick to one particular one, but I've seen them go across and do a lot of different things. So I think that's a good thing.
No, it's a good thing. But sometimes I guess for me, it became a focus thing. So, like good at a bunch of things, never a master at one type of deal. And so I would have all of these things that were there, and I could never
Okay.
quite put it together, into, I guess making it, exactly what I wanted to do. And at the same time, um, as I was in school, I also fell in love with making beats
Mm.
and doing music as well,
Oh, wow.
which really, toward the end of my college time, really took up a lot of my time. Like I just was making beats all the time. And so I spent a good amount of time, after graduation trying to make that work. And
Wow.
I had a couple managers and things like that, but it just never quite got to where I wanted it to, or did what I imagined. And I guess that's kind of where I was in a time where it's like, oh, I gotta get a job. So I was just like, I'll get whatever, and I'll keep on doing these art things and see what happens. And so, I was doing freelance design. I used to work for the Virgin Mega Store, so they let me do like the window displays and stuff like that. And that was like right in Times Square.
Wow.
So that was like really, that was a lot of fun
Yeah.
for me as well. Um, um, but it was like I'm still there, so might as well keep, climbing the ladder. So, I got into the management side of things, and then that company closed, and I still needed a job, and I looked for art jobs as well, but at the time I found a job with Starbucks, and it was kind of the same thing. I was still doing art and music and things like that, but I just was climbing the ladder where I was at. And so I made it all the way up to store manager. And before I
Oh,
turned around and looked, it was like 10 years later. And I've been store manager, and I do enjoy that. I learned a lot. I really do enjoy meeting people, talking to people, running a business in that way. Those were things that I wanted to learn. So
yes.
that was very good for me as well. But as the pandemic came through, some things changed.
Yes, for everybody.
Yeah, so and that was like a really, really weird time for me, where I guess, battled like depression and all of those type of things during that time. And then uh found out about my mom being sick, and not really being able to take care of things back here in DC. And so I kind of like abruptly had to leave New York, even though I was still like floundering anyway. And it was like, well, I gotta figure it out now, and I gotta change some things up. So I came back here, and while things have definitely gotten better for my mom and things like that, at the time I was just like with a haze, and one of my best friends
How did you get into your digital art?
Well, that's where I'm leading right
Oh,
now. That's exactly where we're going right now. Uh, as I was trying to figure the things out here, I have like a little circle of friends that I was pretty much on the fringe of at the time, because I was trying to figure out my stuff and all that. And he just mentioned, like all of the digital things that were coming,
mm,
the chat GPT, and he was like, oh man, you should really look at this. And he had been throwing stuff out, randomly for a while. And I just was like, all right, let me see. I'm not doing anything anyway. Let me see what was going on. And, I played around, and like I guess it would be like the first picture in the ones that I sent you with the Afro guy standing on like a Japan mountain landscape or whatever. And that was like the first thing that I tried to make. And
mm.
I was like, all right, well, it is AI, it is compiling pictures, and there's a whole list of complaints from real artists as to how things get put together with that side of things. But it became more about, can I get it to create what I'm seeing in my head? You
So
know,
you, because if, to me, it's like it's graphic design too, also mixed up in there.
it's
So
a lot, that those AI platforms pull from. Um,
you use these from AI platforms, all of your pictures.
yes.
Oh, okay. I thought they were graphic or digital art.
Well, some of them I then do manipulate afterwards.
Oh,
So, because there is copyright and things of that nature to be concerned with. So you do have to then manipulate them. And so there's a bunch of color correction and things of that nature that go into what I do after I generate something. But it is also an art to spending the time to get the look of something that you actually want um to be generated, because it'll do its own thing. You know what I mean? It'll come up with a bunch of things.
you, how do you do this? You tell the AI to,
Yeah, it comes by way of prompting, and you put in prompts. As you move forward and you get more into it, you realize it pays attention to some things, it doesn't pay attention to other things. And there's different, it's like its own language almost.
okay.
um it's like coding for a website and things
Yes.
of that nature, like it's its own thing. And so you kind of really have to, it's like a delicate balance of simplicity and specific
Yes.
detail to achieve um the image that you really want, or image that I really would put up
Yeah.
to on
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
Instagram or something of that
Yeah.
nature. So yeah, it's not like it could be very easy if you're just, oh, whatever, you know, but where I became a little more intentional with what I was trying to create based around my interests. So
Mhm.
like I really love sci-fi things.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So, and I always felt like I never saw enough of us. Uh,
Yeah. It's
in
Leon's.
right, but we had to be a whole
Exactly. Exactly.
crazy alien,
Right.
and then that falls in line with kind of how Hollywood
Does things.
slices up and does things. But I just always felt like, I don't know, if you look at the statistics, we're 2/3 of the world, right?
Yeah,
So
but you show us a lot.
but we don't get shown a lot. And I often had the thought that, what if we were just the predominant thing, as we already are, but
Are.
if it was shown that way. And so then it became, how can I just show us in that way, pull influences from our histories and different African tribes
Yeah,
or African American culture, but put us in the future, give us something to see,
yeah.
where we can see ourselves
Mhm.
30, 40, 150, 3 million years from now, whatever it is, even if
Another
and
planet.
then we're not, on another planet, or we're not even, we're just big heads, but somehow there's these African features within it. We can be by telekinesis at that point or something, but it's us though,
I think
and so that's really the whole thought process behind the majority of the images. Um, I just want to keep it. So far, I've just wanted to really do it sci-fi and just try to keep it Black, which has been a challenge as well because you know the AI algorithms, you know, they they aren't made by us, you know.
because it's picking up all, like you said, it picks up all the information that's out there, which is majority of one particular race, and as
Mm-hmm.
much from all the people of color in the world. So that's why it's like that. But
Right.
creating this gives it more diversity.
Yeah, it definitely does, but it becomes interesting because sometimes you're asking it for things that for us are nothing salacious about it,
Right.
but it interprets what you're asking as, oh, that's something, and it'll flat out tell you, oh, I can't produce this image because
Oh, wow.
of whatever. And it's like, or it spits out an image to you. I have a few images where it, because I put in African or African tribe or something of that nature, and it'll give me, or National Geographic African tribe, and it'll give me some nakedness, right? I didn't ask for any nakedness, right? But it gave me some nakedness. And then I turn around and try to use the exact image that it already gave me, maybe, and manipulate it with something else. And oh, now you can't use that. Oh, I didn't, you gave it to me. I didn't I didn't do that. And I think a lot of that doesn't I don't know, when I see other images, floating through the internet, I don't see the same the anime, the sexiness, and I use the tribes more when referring to like the clothing and what they're wearing, more so than like the type of people that I'm trying to
Because
uh,
even now, I mean,
because it gives it more ornament and things of that nature. And I enjoy trying to blend um, our sensibilities with maybe some of the older, um, more metal works or things like that, of maybe like a Byzantine Empire or a Roman Empire. What would that look like if they had Zulu cross between them? You know what I mean? But yeah, I've definitely tried to I'm
like them though.
as I go forward, because I do create a lot of the images and those AI platforms like Midjourney or Stable or Deep Dream.
Software program.
Mm-hmm. It
Oh,
allows you to do it very quickly. It works in
never used
conjunction
mine,
with like Discord.
but
Uh,
I've never used any AI software programs for artists yet. That's awesome.
yeah, no, it's well, it's really cool to me, but I think it's a tool like any other thing. So, you
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
something that
yeah.
that as I move forward,
Mhm.
it it will become maybe a backdrop that I'll end up painting on top of. And
Yes,
so we're actually rapidly moving in that direction
yes.
of making a lot of more mixed media, um,
There's a lot of mixed media.
you know, visuals, you know, to sell and things of that nature that may incorporate the AI, you know, and not solely be that, but they also are, I mean, it's hard to um get around the fact that it is producing some beautiful images. And then you know, and I do like the attempts at trying to get the photorealistic. um I'm not really too into it drawing something for me, but like compositing a real photo realistic looking image. I don't know, in my head it just seems harder to get it to do that, you know, than
Doing
for
it,
it
you're
to stop, because it can imitate almost, you know, you put in whoever your favorite artist is, and it might imitate that style, or it might pull something from them um
hmm.
pretty quickly and easily, and you might be like, oh snap, like, you know, and you can have a great time, you know, and really get lost in it. But when I do think about, you know, I guess that's probably the art schoolish part of me, you know, like trying to find some type of like integrity in using such a platform that, you know, has its reach is so vast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been that's been part of it, because I just think that, you know, there would be we are kings and queens, you know,
Yes.
and that's part of it. You know, I do want us to see ourselves in a great light, you know, even if we're coming from the bottom to go to the top. Like that's what we are. We are all kings and queens. So I just think that we should be
Yeah.
seeing ourselves in that way. But we could have many different jobs, and you know, they don't all have to be, you know, I don't know, one thing. They don't have to be small jobs. They can be very great things. And so that's a lot of times I title them with that in mind, you know, those aspirational, you know,
Yes.
big jobs, big tycoons, the
Yeah.
and also the juxtaposition of us being just a beautiful, complex people, you know. We're not all of one thing, you know. We can listen to the most ratchetest of music and be a CEO. You know what I mean? Like, we
Oh,
have that dichotomy within us, and two things can exist at the same time, you know.
yes. Exactly. So where do you want to take this?
In the immediate
Right.
future, I've been working on my website, as like I said, I was, you know, doing management things for 10 years prior. So I kind of am having to relearn a little bit. And this has been helping me as I on that journey. So I'll be having my website launching very soon, fingers crossed, within the next month.
Oh, good.
And I'm looking to, you know, sell some prints of the work, and then also do some other merchandising things with some shirts and things like that, sweatshirts, and get the ball rolling on that. And then also, because I did spend 10 years in coffee, I'm also looking to add a coffee element. I think I've just kind of, in these last few months, I've just been in like a real like studious, trying to get back on top of my artistic game.
Oh, good.
But it's things like this that definitely are very encouraging, because I wasn't expecting anybody to like really reach out and say, oh, let me interview you or anything like that. So like it's very encouraging to have
Mm,
something like this happen. Like it helps to have like, you know, little for your own artist, it helps to have like little niches and things like that. So
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
yeah,
Um, have you done any exhibitions yet or anything like that?
I have not done any exhibitions as of yet. That's definitely something that I'm looking forward to being able to do. I think that the AI arts, has a big hurdle to overcome when it comes to that stuff. It's helped out by some things, like my friend who got me back into this. He just had his work displayed with Afropunk down in it was in New Orleans this year, I believe. And so that was a really, you know, big event that a lot of people could see what he had going on, and I think things like that help it. But as far as like a gallery, I think there's still in heavy debate about how much of the AI did the work versus you doing the work. And you know some of the clips that I or the videos that I showed is me and my friends talking about that very thing, about you know what how much can you give credit to yourself for, or versus how much credit does the AI get for compositing the images. And it's a good debate, but I think there's points on both sides
Mhm.
when you think about the time you spend in getting what you actually want. I think that's where kind of the difference is, because it will give you a lot of great things very quickly. It'll give you four of them like immediately. And you may really like them. You may like, oh, this is really good. But for me, if it's not really what I'm going for, or the experimentation, or really in the vein of the experimentation that I'm really seeing, then that's not what I wanted, And so I go through a lot of a lot of those images. I delete a bunch of stuff, and by the time I land on what I really want, I have probably or tweaked the prompt multiple times. Okay, it gave me this for that's kind of this, but well, it has one of the elements. Maybe if I blend those two together, you go back and forth. But by the time I really settle in on the images that I want, I could have spent, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours, which is the time I could have spent in making a painting. You know what I mean?
That's
Depending on what it is.
the ignorance of people not knowing. What's the difference? Now, this is me. What's the difference between that and digital art? Because digital art, you're actually applying and doing, but sometimes with digital art, you take an image and you're doing something over it. Not always,
Not
but
always. So that's kind of the gray area of it. I think people who are doing digital art, they have their tablet, their tablet and
on the computer.
in the digital pen, and they're able to draw on the computer, so they still feel like I'm drawing this out. I'm spending
Mhm.
the man hours to create something, whereas, like I said, very quickly I can get a whole image, one prompt in like 30 seconds, right?
Right?
But is it what I actually wanted? And and you can get really close very quickly depending on how well you're able to prompt something. But for me, it really comes down to the idea and the machine's execution, and me thinking about
what exactly you're trying to
what
achieve.
exactly it is, what it does look like, and you
Mhm.
know, on one idea, I had one the other day where I enjoyed the aesthetic of something that it created, and but I wasn't finding exactly what I wanted, but it was kicking out great images after great images. And I was like, I probably could use a bunch of these for something, right? And just going down the rabbit hole of changing the prompt, moving this around, expanding it, making it smaller, all this thing. And a whole day later, I look up and I got 250 new images in a folder, you know, of
Hmm.
the same variety. And when I really think about which one of these may make, like, for instance, may make my Instagram, it might be two of them, it might be three of them,
This
you
is gonna
know?
help because I'm definitely gonna. I mean, I may name the head of the magazine exploring the AI art. I don't know. I'm putting one of your images on it, but the
Yeah.
video will be embedded in the magazine. It'll be on YouTube. But this is what people need to hear because
Yeah.
they.
But that's me. Any one of those images, I could upload all 250 of them and everybody would have a great time with them. I think we're very scared of the removal of the human element, right? But
I see what you're saying.
I think that you're never going to really get around it, right? Because the imitation of it, and it probably, Lord knows it's going to get even better, right? Because they continually keep working at these things. I think you should be able to like license your likeness or something of that
That's what
nature.
they're talking about.
Um,
That's exactly
but
one.
even but when you really get down to, I guess, the intellectual properties of like storytelling and like chat GPT recreating, oh, write this movie in the style of, Quentin Tarantino or something like that. Like it's always like, at least right now, in my opinion, like I'll read some of the stuff and I'll be like, I mean, I see it, but this isn't, you
This,
know, this
this,
isn't it yet, and so I think they were very much right in taking their stand right now to get, things in order before it becomes a whole craziness. Um,
and they,
like like music streaming, they don't get what they should, right?
well, they're
And yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's like, and I just think like you just have it takes time, like I said, and it's easy to be fooled. And maybe in the early stages I probably was just like picking out whatever image, you know that got closest to, but as I've moved forward, it's definitely become a lot more intentional,
Hmm.
uh, as to what I want and what I'm trying to, the type of image I'm trying to get, and so, just to, I guess, adhere to some kind of like fine arts type of rules, if you will, because it does matter, the work that you put in and the time, that you put into creating something, even if you do get an assist, but I think my friend kind of put it best, and it was like, when we was back in the day playing Super Mario, and it was, we got to go through, however many levels that was. And then they came out with the Power Glove. And it was like, oh, well, did I need to really go through all of those levels? When, when this Power Glove came out, but there's still work to be done with the Power Glove.
Yeah.
It's not all solved just because you had the glove.
Yeah.
It just allows you to do something a little bit faster. And I think that once it's like figured out how we can really utilize it with the human element, I don't, I don't think we should ever be absent from the process, but I just think that it's gonna get so
No,
much crazier, once we really figure out how to really integrate it.
I think you're headed down a great direction. You're doing it before a lot of people catch on. You're going to be the leader in the field. I think you need to keep following your intuition because it's going to lead you to great places.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I think it can. Well, do you have anything else you want to tell me?
I don't know. I mean, if there's any other questions you have.
No, you really answered everything.
Yeah, it's my first little piece of press, so I appreciate it.
The first of I'm assuming it's going to be many. I just really have a good feeling about you. I
I
think you're going
appreciate
to go
that.
on to do some great things.
I appreciate that. And I look forward to maybe us doing this again for sure.
Okay. I will talk to you soon and let you know when it comes out.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.